how good your life can get is going to be determined by how much you can place your awareness and attention of things of abundance. The more you can be grateful, the more you can focus on the joy of life. The thing, however, is that for a lot of us, we're not focused on that. We're focused on the lack of things. We're continually reminded that something is missing, and we're doing it to ourselves because this is not how things need to be, and it is not how things can be if you're ever going to start just manifesting all of those things that you want in your life. The amazing abundance in terms of relationships, money, or whatever it is. Because those things first comes from your ability to place your awareness on abundance. Because the more that you focus on something, the more of it you get into your life. Now, as I just mentioned, it is really hard sometimes to keep your focus on the things of abundance, because sometimes it feels like all that there is in your life is the lack. These, whatever thing it is that you're doing right now, maybe you're working on a project or you are in a relationship and you're thinking about the numbers, or you're thinking about how well it is doing. You're trying to control the outcome in some way. You're trying to control your partner. You're trying to be on top of something, worry about it, think about it. And while that is happening, while we are disconnected from the abundance of life and instead fall back into that lacking mentality, we're sending a very distorted signal to the universe that is changing the trajectory of where we are going. It is easy to be grateful. It is easy to be joyful when you're feeling really good, right? But sometimes you're not feeling that good. And then it's easy to fall into that mentality of everything is just missing. I need this thing to really work out. I want this thing to happen. I want change in my life, because we're feeling a lack in the present moment. But then the question is, where the fuck does that lack come from? And how can we work with it? How can we, in that space, make it so that we don't sabotage for ourselves? So that we don't go backwards all the time, and so that we don't get the things that we want to have. First of all, you're not always going to feel amazing. You're not always going to be on top of things. You are on some days going to feel lower emotions. You might not always be aware of exactly what emotions it is that you're feeling, but at the core of focusing on something that is lacking comes first an uncomfortable emotion that exists within your being, within your heart, within your body, that you need to distract yourself from. And you think that if I have more, if I attach myself to this matrix of our reality where I'm having a lot of thoughts about how to control something, how to have more of something, at the core of that lies a belief that perhaps this thing that I'm experiencing right now is going to go away, or I can't be with this thing. But that is where we go wrong, because it is in the act of actually not acting out a lacking program, a lacking set of thoughts, a lacking set of actions, being really obsessed over your work all of a sudden. That's when we go wrong. We start executing on an unconscious program as to be disconnected from the depth of who we are in this case. And the secret here is to move beyond the program and allowing yourself to simply be with what it is that you are experiencing. It's not about completely eliminating, because you can't eliminate feeling a little bit off sometimes. It is always gonna be there. It's just about being more conscious about when that is actually happening. And you can see it when you go into your programs, right? you can see it that when I'm really obsessed over this thing, or I'm really thinking about this thing, that right now, in this moment, as I am creating this resistance to the joy, to the lightness of life, to everything, when I'm creating this resistance, it is because I refuse to be in acceptance of what it is that's going on within me right now. And most are not even aware of the fact that something is going on within them when they are in this state. And that is because we grow unconscious of the emotional body and everything that is going on here as we get more used to our programs over our lifetime. And we don't understand as we slowly make that shift from the present moment and through a conscious life into that more unconscious lifestyle. But this is something that most people on this planet do as we learn things, as we experience things. Because we save down a lot of things from society, from friends, from family. We get programmed by our environment. And at the program, at every sort of limiting program that we have, where we go into this lacking mentality and we need to create more because we so deeply want to run away from ourselves. At the core of that lies emotions that we don't want to have, or on some level don't believe that we can have, because of the environment that taught us something about ourselves, right? And so we disconnected from ourselves. And now we're creating this resistance to all the things that we want because we're not in acceptance of these things that's going on. And then we go out and execute on a program that just reinforces this lacking state that we believe that we're in. But the thing is that when our attention is so deeply focused on the lack, it is not actually lack that is going on right now. It's just that we believe on some level that we shouldn't be in the present moment right now, as it is. In other words, in the emotional body and in what it is that we're experiencing internally. We should be doing something about it. And in the act of trying to do something about it, we create the resistance, because that is when we go out of our way and become this unconscious, very unnatural force of nature that creates resistance and problems, you know? And I speak a lot about this. We get programmed in so many different ways. We could be a shy person, an insecure person, someone that always blames someone else. We blame ourselves, we're hard on ourselves. We have a million different small adaptations within our personality. Perhaps we can't accept help. Perhaps we are always pushing people away. It's unconscious responses. And a lot of the times people don't even understand that they're always deeply ingrained in a lacking state. And that's where this conscious work needs to take place. We need to move back into awareness of what is going on during those tough days, where we usually set ourselves back, where we just allow ourselves to go through what we're going through, so that we can move through it and move back into that state where everything is light, where we feel grateful and joy. And we can execute on our dreams and we keep manifesting and creating all the things that we want. And then we can have some of those days that come back where we don't feel so good again. And then we allow ourselves to be. We don't put the pressure on ourselves to do something about it. We simply allow ourselves to be with it and to even appreciate it and be grateful for it. I know that that's like impossible though, when you get started with this, to be grateful for feeling in the way that you're feeling. So I'm not going to say that you should necessarily do that either, but allowing yourself to just be with it is the key, because then you transmute it and you don't send this very distorted signal to the universe that sends you off trajectory again, because you keep executing on all of these programs and trying to get this relationship or trying to maintain this thing over here or focusing on the numbers of your business or whatever it is. You know, because it is in that act that we mess everything up when it comes to getting what we want, because we create that resistance. So the more that we can stop feeding into that lacking program during those days when it is really, really, really hard to not do that. And instead moving to the awareness that something is going on right now that I need to be in acceptance of and not in the act of doing something about. That's when everything starts to change. And this is a cycle, right? You're always going to have these days come up, and the universe is doing it for you so that you can transmute a lot of these lower energies that are currently holding you back from being able to manifest what you want, because everything in this world is a reflection of you. So if you want something better, then what you're experiencing must first be better. And the only way for it to be better is to go through the lower emotions that are currently still in you because you don't accept them, but instead run from them through a distracting program. But the more that you move away from the program back into yourself and just allow these things to play themselves out, the faster you're gonna move back into the true authentic essence of who you are. You're going to move away from these programs. They're going to fall off you like ice melting, and you're gonna be free to do the things and receive the things that you're truly worthy of. But first, that journey and abundance must be found through you. Because the only reason why you don't currently see that abundance so clearly and feel it so deeply and feel so peaceful within yourself is because you're denying these things that are trying to come up to the surface to be transmuted. The universe is always showing you what you need to work on. What you need to, I shouldn't even say work on, because it's being worked on by itself through your allowance. But the universe is always showing you, here, take a look at this. And usually we go, no, I'm gonna go and do this thing. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna figure something out. And we're stuck in that pattern for a long period of our life. And then eventually maybe we snap out of it and we realize that, perhaps as you're doing now with this video, that, okay, this is actually something that I need to deal with, that I need to be with, and it's happening for me. Because we're never gonna get what we want unless we actually also first come into acceptance of all of these things going on within us. Because that is the key to everything that we're searching for. Feel free to check out my free 30-minute subconscious success course that teaches you a lot about how to do this. And also I have my coaching calls on my website. I'll leave some links in the description, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.